Welcome back to another edition of Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast. Bill, how are you, my man?
I'm good. You doing all right?
I can't complain. Just turned 40 here recently,
There you go.
sort of getting the kids back into school. So I guess really, once you hit the big 40,
Big number.
there's not much to complain about, right? You're just glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. That's I've got you by a few years, so
Yeah. We're
it's not
still all
that bad, Travis. Come on.
we're still young at heart, right? So
That's right.
yeah, man. Another remote one today.
That's
Hoping to
right.
get to Jacksonville again here soon, but figured we'd hop on here real quick because I had a conversation with a prospective partner a few weeks ago,
Okay.
and it's not the first time this question's been asked, but it is one that I don't think we've really covered. And the general theme was, hey, you guys are going to come out, you're going to get me these direct codes. Why am I going to stick around and be a partner with you once I have what I need?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good topic for you and I to discuss because there's a number of reasons I feel like our partners stick around and even come back to us after the fact and reconstitute themselves with a second or even third agency. So
Yeah.
figured
So,
we would cover it.
so Travis, I guess what they're asking is once they get the relationship with the carrier that we've helped provide them, they want to know why our partners stay with us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's one of those things, right? I think you and I've talked about it, the sexy topic, why people look at aggregators, clusters, whatever you want to call it, is markets and money.
We could get into more in just a second, but I think we pause right here and just talk about first come the markets, then comes the money. And we did a whole podcast on this one in March about the 5 pillars of compensation.
Yeah, and I think that's the big driver, right? Is they come in, we help with those markets, and then once those guarantees in particular start flowing, right? But the fact that they're earning these contingencies for $1 and they're earning at a higher level than they would on their own, right?
That's right.
That's really the biggest and main reason because they can see that paid out quarterly throughout the year, and that's why a lot of members stay.
I do think if we went backwards to the markets, I do think our relationships with the markets and the stability and maybe new markets we get, again, just the relationships with the markets, I do think is a good reason that people stay. If they have a bump in the road, our agency growth coach is one of the first phone calls that go to them to help them navigate through that. So there are a lot of pieces that we do continue to help with the navigating of markets and even with them getting that direct code, that direct contract. But I mean, it still goes back to money, in a lot of ways. So it just pushes me right back to that 5 pillars.
To your point on the markets, one of the conversations we have is we expect the nature of our partner's business to evolve over time. And so we expect our relationship with them to evolve as well. And so for a lot of newer partners, it is either A, market access for that startup member, or B, that existing agency targeted market access, right? They've got direct codes, but there's specific companies they want access to. And so that's where that relationship comes in. But the agency itself is going to evolve where they're writing, what they're wanting to write, how they're writing business, as well as just the market in general and what carriers are looking to do. That's going to evolve over time. And that's another piece to it is, hey, yeah, we can get you what you need to be in the position today, but who knows where you're going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now. And we're still a vital part of that on the market access piece in particular. But in the meantime, or in the interim there, the contingencies, the bonuses, the profit sharing, the 5 layers of compensation really, I would say, shows you the real-time value to the bottom line of the partnership.
Yeah. Travis, when I was looking at something the other day, I was kind of going through statistics. You know me, I try to pull out numbers and try to make things work. But I believe we still have, it was 32 agents that are still partners with us after 10 years of being a partner with us. I didn't go who was past 15 because we do have some past that. I think we have some in the 20-year mark with us. So we do have a good number of agents that have been partners with us over 10 years. And I do think there's a lot of reasons for that. We've hit on the markets and money. I do think that is a key portion of it. But I do think that some of the other services that we provide are critical for agencies. Now, they're all different for each individual agent, right? Each independent agent that we talk about is is unique in certain ways. They have a lot of things that could be similar, and each of them want different things at different times. But I do think we offer a lot of services on the consulting front that really help these agencies as they evolve, as they grow outside of the money and market situation as well.
Well, you hit on our growth coach a little while ago, and I think that's something that is a vital piece because, yeah, they're there to help you navigate those relationships with those carriers. They're a phone call away. But the other side of that is they also sort of are the ones that handle our consulting services, whether that is that agency that's dipping their toe in the employee or hiring their first employee or needing to train employees. They're the one that kind of helps facilitate those programs. But even back to the money side of it, a big part of that role is revenue generation for partners and helping them find avenues for growth and opportunity within their book of business, within their agency, that she can or they can help sort of, hold your hand in that process and sort of some, I would call it, justification or proofing to concept a lot of times. And that's a big vital piece, especially for that agency that's, like you said, 10, 12, 15 years into their business.
Yeah. And I think this is where we get to, we can't just name one thing because we do have a good team. We can use some things multiple times, but a lot of times it's just a conversation with the partner. We've got to sit down. We have to get creative. We have to have, the meetings with the right parties in place to figure out how do we help them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I did a podcast by myself a few weeks ago, and we talked about upfront and the process of creating a unique partnership to begin with. And that doesn't stop after you actually become a partner, right? I mean, we're still, engaging and working with members in unique ways, all with the goal of, how do we help you build the most valuable entity that you possibly can? That's our focus. And so that's going to vary and change from agency to agency and in some ways from year to year, month to month.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it is one of those that we always drive towards the money and markets because that's something that is probably easy for somebody to search, easy for somebody to put their hands on. It does affect most agencies about the same. I would say they may evolve a little bit differently, or they may go personal lines, commercial lines, or commercial lines, personal lines, or, really segment into one of those areas. So it may be a little different.
Yeah.
The money's going to be there. They're going to want to see the money. And they understand that with us is the money in the markets. But the consulting services that we have to offer are, I believe, second to none. And maybe something that we've got to give a little segue into maybe another podcast later on is, maybe we list a few and show people why they do want to be with us even more, because it is so different. And that's kind of all we can say during this one, because it is so unique for each person.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that's a great idea to sit down and have a conversation around, the things that are, I would say, more down the line, right? The things that you're going to have access to and when you need them and how you engage with them. And those types of things will vary based on your trajectory as a business. But I would say that's a big reason why we're still driving value outside of just the markets and money. And that's why we have partners that, if you said, have been here 10 plus years, 15 plus years, 20 plus years. Heck, we even have a partner that, built one business, sold it, came back and started another.
That's right.
Right. So, we've got some unique partnerships, some unique relationships out there that really extend beyond just kind of the surface level.
That's right. Well, hopefully we've answered why somebody would stay with us for an extended period of time after they got their markets.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've covered that one pretty good.
Maybe that person listening gives us that, feedback. Maybe they say, hey, look, can you help me with this and do a podcast on that and tell me how you've helped somebody?
100%. We're always open for topics and want to make sure we're getting the questions answered to help people make the right decisions. And that's what our goal is.
Absolutely. Look, man, good seeing you virtually again. Hopefully we'll get together in person soon.
Well, I was going to say, we'll be in person again here soon.
That's right, man. Well, look, have a good one.
Yeah, do the same. See you guys.
All right. See ya. Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.